Hey everyone, I'm Will, and today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect birch tea. But before that, remember to like and subscribe and comment down below, and don't forget to press that notification bell down below. Right here, we have a gray birch tree that we're going to use for the tea. Now you can use any species of birch. The best flavor one that you would be going towards, if you want to have more of a wintergreen kind of hint of flavor to it, is going to be the yellow birch. Has that wintergreen flavor. But we're going to use a gray birch and also a white birch. We'll have similar flavors. We'll have a really good flavor to it. Now if you can see right here, there is suckers. Suckers are the small little trees that form from the root structure. If you see any small little trees growing from like the trunk itself or the branches, those are called water sprouts. We are harvesting the suckers, so the small little parts that we're looking for is the little branches, somewhere in between a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch wide of the sucker that's forming. Like there's like a small little one right here. We're going to be harvesting something somewhere around this size here. This one over here is a little bit bigger. That one you can harvest and it would be fine. You don't want to harvest. We're going for the interior bark, the cortex, where the xylem, phloem, and all the nutrients actually flows through. You could harvest straight from the tree, but this might damage the tree a little bit. And if you can see right up here, there's a big giant crack and stuff. And if you move right over here, if you look straight up, further up, there's birch polypores growing on this dead part of it, of this part of the tree, and that's not as good to like damage the trunks itself. So what you are actually wanting to look for is about that 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, like I said, and somewhere, but make sure that it's alive. If it has, like, look up on the top of the branches, if there's buds, and I see a little buds right here, those are going to be a little bit good. We're not going to go for a major branch structure, like right here, looks like a good one, and you want to like carve right off. And if it's the species that you're looking for, carve in just a little bit and just like rip a little bit off. And it's a little bit green on the inside. That greenish kind of look is what we're going for. That light green is telling you that's the cortex. And let's see. There's a little bit of bitterness, just a slight to it, to tell me that's the flavor of it. So if we cut this part off, and this is the sucker, not the actual trunk of the tree, so this correlates with the damage of the tree. And then you can take this back. I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth of how to process this down. We can here take off the dead parts. Like right here is the dead branches, so you can leave those. The small, really little branches you can leave on, because the buds can actually, we can use for it, or we can eat as of right now. Tastes fantastic. Has a sweetness to it. So let's take this back inside and turn this into a tea. And this is going to be a cold steep tea, not a hot water or warm water kind of tea. This is going to take about 1 to 2 hours to steep. So what you're going to want to do a little bit is actually take the blade of the knife and don't cut with it, but like scratch off the outer bark lightly and get into the interior bark. If you can see, it's showing like a light green there, and you don't want to, when you see that, do not go over that same spot. You want to just scratch it. If you have a lip on the back of the knife, I don't have on this one that I made, that will actually help too. But you want to lightly scratch off some of the bark. When you have taken most of the bark off, leave the green part on that's still left. If there's a little bit of the outer bark still on, that's fine. What we're going to be doing now when we go inside is we're going to take the buds off. We're going to, all the buds that are on this, we're going to take the buds off, stick that into cold water with the inner green part. And we just need a little bit of the inner green part, not too much. So we can like even save the branch for later for more teas of the rest of the branch. So you just need to scrape it off and get the inner bark, and we just nice and tiny bit, like this is how simple it is. You just want to really curl and don't go too deep. And this is just the cortex right there. That part right there is the cortex. And that's what we're getting for the best nutrients. And it's also anti-cancer. Now let's process the bark, the inner bark, the cortex, down. So you want those like small little hairs. It's not, you don't want to go right into the other bark, the outer bark, because that has like a bit more bitters. If you want that bitter note to it, you can, but we're making a perfect tea. So you want that small little like light kind of over the plate. If you get a little bit of the wood itself, that's fine. Like a little bit of the white, not a problem. But you're mostly going for the cortex. And what you're looking for about measurement, somewhere in between 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of the bark with the buds. We're going to use some of the buds too. And you want to put that into cold water. I'm going to show you here in a minute. Now we have gotten some of the bark off. Now let's pick some of these buds off. You don't want like really small buds. You just want like basic size. Bigger ones work better. And you just want to pick a few of these buds off. I'm going to pick off on this whole entire thing all the buds to put with this. After you have gotten the buds and the bark off, you can take this back outside and put it with the wild and stuff and all that. Or you can save this because there's all this inner bark all throughout it still that has the anti-cancer properties. So you can use this still if you just leave it in a dry place. Next, you want to take the bark and the buds, stick them into a 1 pint mason jar. Then add 1.5 cups of cold water. We're doing a cold steep. Now this is going to take about 1 to 2 hours at least to steep this. This can go faster if you use dried cortex of the inner bark. Will go faster, but because we're using fresh, it's going to take a little longer. This can take upwards of 3 to 4 hours to steep of using fresh bark, and it will be quicker using dried bark. So add this, and let's leave this, like stir it around, and this will sit for a little bit of a while. The best way to actually do this, if you want to have a nice refreshing flavor, make it in the morning, and then by the afternoon you'll actually have a refreshing tasting anti-cancer drink. Now it's been steeping for a while, and I can tell that the coloration has changed. It's now more of an amber coloration. So let's smell it. There's that classic when you have anything like a birch smell to it. It's definitely there. I smell a little bit of bitters. There is a faint right at the back of smelling that, like right at the finish of smelling it, I smell just a tiny bit of sweetness. So, like my other tea videos, the paper towel trick, or you can use a coffee filter. Just stick it right over the top, take the lid out of the ring, take the ring, stick it on top of your paper towel, and then poke a hole right on top, or one part, and don't pour out of that hole, that just releases pressure that the stream of the tea that you pour into your mug doesn't stop, because the pressure can actually make it stop or just slow down. And after the grounds and stuff, you can actually put back outside or put in the compost, because deep down inside there is still little tiny fragments of nutrients, of the vitamins and minerals still in there that you can put into your garden, and that can go to your carrots, your potatoes, your tomatoes, and your beans, and they will love having that as their nutrients, that you can use that also for your food. So then just pour this right into your cup, and pours right out, and just pouring it out, just the coloration has a pinkish tone to it. And let's smell it without the bark. Smells exactly the same. Sometimes it smells different. So let's taste. Oh, I definitely, right up front, I taste sweetness. It's fantastic. And you throw a little bit of sugar with this, and then if you throw this with like a CO2 and just make it bubbly, you basically have simple and easy birch soda. But this is also fantastic. This is amazing. And this just like wakes you right up. It's waking me up. And this just tastes fantastic. The flavor has a slight bitter note just at the end, but not overwhelming. Imagine like a semi-sweet chocolate, like the bitterness that you get from semi-sweet chocolate, or when you have a salad, like the lettuce that you get, like romaine lettuce, that slight bitterness, that much bitterness, and it's just below that. Not even that strong of bitterness is coming from this, but there's a slight hint, and surprisingly, this is really good for you. Anti-cancer properties of the antioxidants that are in this really boost your immune system to actually fight back any kind of problems like the common cold, or even you feeling down for the day. Have some birch tea. And that's how you make the perfect birch tea. If you want to see more, go down in the description below, click the link to my channel, or press the round subscribe button to help me out to get to 10,000 subscribers. And until next time, remember to get outside, get fresh air, and have fun. See ya!